Welcome to the very first installment of Total Noob. It's a segment I've been talking about and promising for a while, where I am a total noob and I sit down with some experienced players who kind of show me the ropes. So today we have my good friend Aaron,
Hey.
my good friend Jeff,
Hey, what's up?
and lounging in the back is my good friend Nick.
I don't actually know how to play.
He is a co-noob with me, and we're playing the game Dota 2.
Yes.
So we're actually watching a tournament, is that right?
Yeah, this is a game from earlier this week when we're recording from the international tournament. The big old Dota 2 tournament with a $1.4 million, I guess, this year prize pool.
2.8 million.
Wow.
Well, for first.
Yeah,
for first place is 1.4 million.
So which one is you?
If one of these was me, I'd be raking in money on Twitch streaming. I wouldn't be...
And you also would not,
Yeah.
we would never see you.
Yes.
So this is the pick and ban phase, am I right?
Yeah, so at the start of the game, basically, all the pro games, they use a mode called Captain's Mode. So the start of the game, the captains for each team go, and there's bans that they put in over here of heroes that they don't want to play against. And then they will pick heroes. And this goes in, there's 2 bans at the start. Then a team gets a first pick, then the other team gets 2, 1... and then there's a couple more bans, and it goes back and forth like that.
Okay, so can you discuss some of the bans? Like what are the characters they've banned, and why are they banning them?
All right, well, LGD... Well, so I guess first, LGD Gaming, they're a Chinese powerhouse team.
Official team.
Yeah.
They're one of the
All these
groups.
Dota 2 groups, they are all official teams that get salaries to do nothing but play Dota.
Oh, man.
So yeah, LGD are one of the big ones in the Chinese scene. Not Versari, or Navi as they're known. They are a big kind of Russian and Ukraine, that whole area group.
Team Europe.
Yeah, and they've been basically the dominating force in the Western scene for the last couple of years.
Nice.
There's been so far 3 internationals, which is the big one.
Well, this
tournament
is
each
the
year.
third.
This is the third one. Navi actually won the first one, and they got the first place prize was $1 million.
Yeah.
They came second in the second one. They lost actually to a different Chinese team who hasn't been doing nearly as well as last year. And then this is the third. It's essentially just the preliminary games for the international.
Yeah, so since
Nice.
we're getting a little bit behind on the picks and bans, so LGD Gaming so far, they've banned IO, also known as Wisp, and Lifestealer. And, I mean, Wisp is a very common ban. Wisp fills what they call the support role. He doesn't do a lot of damage himself, but he has an ultimate ability that allows you to... He can basically tether up to another guy on his team, and his ultimate ability allows you to teleport that person to any point on the map
Oh,
for
wow.
like 10 or 15 seconds, and then it teleports them back.
So the ultimate kind of gank maneuver.
Yeah, it's the ultimate in like mobility, just like, all right, I have one, like you engage on him, and then all of a sudden, instead of being a one-on-one, it is now a 3-on-1. We are tearing your face off and shoving it down your throat.
Nice.
A lot of Chinese teams don't actually play a lot of Wisp. They actually ban it because it's a much more popular pick in the American scene. The China
Yeah,
scene,
the
at least
European
up
scene.
until now, he was never actually picked or banned. But because this, like, the internationals, teams from all around the world, they've had to at least do some research and check on the actual picks and bans of the other teams. And they found it to be a huge problem, which is mostly why it's actually first ban for most Chinese teams, or at least first second ban. And the second ban for LGD was Lifestealer. And he's a lot more straightforward. He's just a person who likes to basically farm, which he wants to get as much gold as possible. And
By killing creeps, and
Hero.
he's a good carry position, and that he can if he gets enough farm, as they say, to get good items, he can carry the whole team on his back to victory.
He will do probably, at least in the long run, as the game gets later, he'll be the one doing the majority of the damage.
Lifestealer's claim to fame is that he steals life from enemy heroes just based off his regular attacks every time he hits, and he has an ability that allows him to do more damage to a hero the higher the health of that hero. So as the game gets later and later and people are getting more and more health, his damage increases proportionally. So he's doing more and more damage to those characters with higher health.
Okay.
The bans for Na'Vi, their first ban was Batrider. Now he's a hero that usually plays, at least in Dota, there's 3 lanes. There's the middle lane, the bottom lane, and the top lane. And generally they call it the safe lane and the hard lane, depending which side you're on.
Yeah.
Batrider is probably the strongest mid in the game. He's usually picked or banned in 100% of games in the last year.
It's very, very high.
Game. He's just very good. He has an ability called Lasso that basically can disable one person for 3 to 4 seconds
and drags them with you.
So you can basically isolate one of the other team's heroes and drag it back into his team, which then proceeds to beat the crap out of him.
He also has ability that lets him basically fly and trail fire for a while, so his mobility is great. He can slow down other units. He can do good DPS. He's just a great all-around hero and great to have. The second guy on here is Alchemist. He's another carry, and basically his big thing is that he has an ability that lets him get bonus gold every time he gets consecutive kills on creeps or heroes. So it's it starts out I think it's it'll be +8, then +16, +24, that on each kill if it's within 30 seconds.
He snowballs
and
under control.
And it levels up, so yeah, he can farm up super, super quick. Magnus is super cool because basically he gets an item called a Blink Dagger that allows him to teleport a short distance, and then his ultimate sucks everyone in a circle around him into in front of him and stuns them for 2 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So he just, if you get, it's called a reverse polarity or RP, so if you get a really good RP off, it can be game changing. You can just win the game for your team.
Yep.
Visage is one of Jeff's favorite support heroes because he has something that Jeff loves, which is micro. His ultimate allows him to summon 2 little familiars that are little dragons that fly around behind him that can attack and do damage or can drop out of the sky and stun things under them. So, and he has other abilities that he's basically a very high burst DPS support. And yeah, if you're good microing him around and using his stuff, then you're going to do great. Back up here with the other bans that have happened now for LGD while we're talking, Dragon Knight. He's another carry that basically he has high armor. He has really, really good life regeneration. And then his ultimate allows him to turn into a dragon form that allows him to do more DPS and get special abilities based on what level it is. And then Outroll Devourer, he is a high magic. He often plays mid lane, and he has an aura that allows everyone to get their mana back as they're going. And he's great high DPS.
So
all right, so I guess we're on to the team picks.
Yeah, we should get into these. I think we both know exactly where we should start with these picks here, Jeff. Right?
It's Darkseer.
Yeah.
He's very similar to Batrider, and he's picked quite a lot. He's a hero who's very annoying. He synergizes a lot of the heroes. They'll synergize quite well with a lot of other heroes. So Darkseer, he's got a couple main abilities. His biggest ones are Vacuum
and Wall,
which will suck people in basically to the center of the circle, similar to reverse polarity, but they won't stun. His second big ability is basically I think it's Dark Wall. I can't remember the actual name.
It's his ultimate.
It's his ultimate. Essentially, if any of the enemy team walks through it, it'll immediately do damage and create an illusion of the other enemy's hero.
That hero that will that will fight for you and do damage based on their damage as a percentage.
So if you can vacuum 5 of the other heroes into the wall, you have 5 of their illusions that do basically at level 3 90% of the damage they do on your team. So it can easily become a 10v5.
I think we should just run through basically quickly what the guys are and what lanes they're probably going to play.
Yeah, I think it's going to start pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll get more into their abilities as it goes on. So Darkseer is probably going to be the off lane for LGD gaming. He has good escape mechanisms and can get farm from range, so he's a really, really great off or hard lane, where he's probably going to be going up against the 2 supports and the carry in a tri-lane position against the other team. Gyrocopter, he's probably going to be the main carry for LGD gaming.
He'll probably be playing on the safe lane with Shadow Demon supporting him,
so
basically keeping him safe.
So the top's the Dire side, the bottom is the Radiant side. So yeah, he'll probably be up top, Puck will be mid, Shadow Demon will be top, Chen will be bottom lane and kind of in the jungle, along with Rubric supporting anti-mage. Mirana's kind of give you off lane, and you're gonna see the majesty that all of us who watch Dota call the Dendy Pudge.
The Dendy Pudge?
Yeah.
One of the members on Na'Vi is basically known for being probably stupidly good is really not saying it nice enough. He's like basically, if you're playing against it, you know you're just gonna have a crappy game.
Yeah.
It's
so
just
we're
so
gonna have a
annoying.
bad time.
Yeah, we'll not tell you, we'll not give you any indication about how Pudge gets his kills, but as long as I don't start missing these kills, it'll be readily apparent, and the skill will also become obvious as it goes on.
He looks like a man that would, eat 2 or 3 people in a day.
One of his ability is he gets stronger because he eats people. Essentially, he just adds patches onto his body from their sense.
So he's basically like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly.
Oh, nice, and they have their own little like team sigils in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, that's something that's going on. There's also a courier that each team uses to they can ferry items back and forth. So Na'Vi, they have their very own weasel. LGD, what courier are they using?
They haven't bought one yet.
They haven't. What? This is blasphemy.
Oh no, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
It's what the heck is that?
I don't
Little
know.
dragon thing?
It's like
Some sort of.
I think it's a seal.
Yeah,
Is that a seal?
like that looks like a
Seal.
lantern, like a
Anglerfish.
fish.
Those lantern
Yeah.
fish.
Anglerfish.
Yeah.
The ones that are in the deep sea, the marine.
Oh, there it is. I see that.
So
Anglerfish?
Na'Vi.
Fun fact, anglerfish are all females.
Yeah.
The males attach themselves to the female anglerfish and then atrophy,
Actually,
turning into a pair of gonads.
All right. So
the males are irresistibly drawn to gnaw on the flesh of the female, at which point they're disintegrated by the female's flesh until they simply become a pair of testicles that the female use when they want to.
what's going on up here is that at 0 minutes and then every 2 minutes thereafter, a rune is going to spawn either here or down here, right over here. And these runes, they can give different buffs. Like there's one that gives like a double damage buff. There's one that's regeneration that refills your life and health. Haste that makes you run very fast. Different stuff like that. So Na'Vi is basically like up here camping. They're hiding behind these trees and on the high ground. And Sylar here takes the bait. Xbox picks up the double damage rune. That's a lift from Rubik, and then Anti-Mage and the others can finish him off.
All 4 of them?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That was
So Navi's got a pretty good lead right off the bat.
They, first blood they call it. It gives you bonus gold, and then they all have a big experience
The big
boost.
thing
Like
is-
everyone who is there, like Rubik who got the kill, he's like 50 experience all the way into level 1 now. So it's a nice lead to help get you ahead of your competition.
The biggest thing was too, the person they actually got it on is probably LGD's main carry. So it's the hero on the other team that needs the most amount of basically experience and gold in order to do well. So by actually getting on him, he takes longer to actually get out to lane where all the creeps are, and essentially where all you can make money.
Yeah.
So by killing him, it sets him behind a lot more than essentially Navi's carry, which is most likely it would be Anti-Mage in this case.
It's also something that Navi's been doing a couple of times this tournament, so Sylar really should have known better than to go down there by himself.
Yeah. So right now it's the laning phase where each team is trying to get as much items, mostly gold and experience as they can by killing the opposing team creeps.
So this is the mid lane. It's generally a sort of a one-on-one matchup that doesn't happen very often in other lanes besides mid. So this is Pudge. He's your gentleman to watch.
Pudge and Puck.
Yeah, and Puck, the little fairy dragon. Puck's main thing is he can send out this illusionary orb that we've seen once earlier that'll do damage to everything it passes over.
There it is.
Which is
There
that
it
there.
is.
And then he can also jaunt into that orb and he'll teleport to wherever it was at that point in time.
Oh.
He also has this little phase shift ability that... Oh shit, and I just missed a kill. Damn it, that was down here.
The Darkseer was killed by Puppy,
Yeah.
which was on Chen.
Puppy.
Again, going to get ready to watch for the rune spawn. This is an illusion rune down here and just got caught out.
We should mention that Chen's ability is they're in each of the jungle, which is like the wooded area of Dota.
Yeah.
There's neutral creeps that can be killed for experience. But the hero Chen can actually basically control them.
Yeah.
And use them to his own advantage. And
Yeah,
each
so
have their own skills.
that's what he just did over here is he took control of this Dark Troll Summoner and now he can make skeletons and nets and stuff like that. So it allows him to just go through the jungle and farm it up really quickly.
So Team Navi is up 2.
Yeah, they're up 2 kills. You can see up here to 0.
Oh, there was Pudge.
And that's what Pudge does, ladies and gentlemen. He takes this nice big meat hook of his, and he can throw it out in a line. And as long as there's no creeps or anything in the way, he can pull them
and
back.
now they've got him.
Yeah, that's Shadow Demon.
LGD's
Shadow
coming in.
Demon there. What's
Insane.
phase disrupt him? Puppy
Touchdown.
did a nuke to kind of get a guy low, so they managed to get 1 kill back, and then Funnick on the Marana is able to jump in and do some good damage to finish another guy off.
Wait,
And
no, that's 2 more down.
yeah, but then there's the phase shift out. So yeah, so that was 2 more for Navi to the 1 kill for LGD.
It should be noted that Marana's not actually farming the top lane.
Yeah,
She's
like
actually doing Ancients.
yeah, normally she'd be hanging out in the top lane, but they've been doing this strategy where they stack this ancient camp over here, and then she can attack it from over here and kind of do damage to it without it really damaging her. These ancients, they're just like the lane creeps down here, or the jungle creeps down here, except they're harder to kill and they're worth more gold.
Okay.
The other really cool thing about her being over here, she has this arrow ability. Basically, it shoots out an arrow in a straight line that you can kind of see coming when it gets through the fog of war. But the farther it goes before it hits, up to a certain point, the more damage it'll do. Or not the more damage, the longer the stun it'll go.
Are they going in for another?
Yeah, they're trying to get him again, but this time Puck didn't manage to quite get him out in front of him with the phase shift, so she couldn't get the body block. And so then the others couldn't catch up. And that's the arrow coming in there. And so while the arrow's up, see, so it's a super long, so it was a long distance one, and then it's just a free setup on the hook for Pudge.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you can pull them up the cliffs too.
Yeah, that's the big thing with Pudge is he can actually isolate heroes. So if you're able to isolate and quickly kill one, there's not really much the team goes.
There's another arrow, and then there's a phase shift by
Puck. Which basically just means that he can't be hit for 0.75 seconds. Yeah. So if you're quick on the trigger, you can avoid a lot of things, like including Puck.
And it's really nice for Puck here because it allows him to be slightly more aggressive than he would have otherwise been able to be, because if he was anyone else there's a very good chance that arrow probably would have hit and he would have been dead. So and then up here, Gyrocopter is farming away. He is the LGD carry, as we said earlier. And then the supports, when they're not trying to run in and gank mid and stuff like that, they're pulling their creeps off into these jungle camps so that they can farm these jungle camps for free to get experience and gold. And this also keeps the other team's creeps up by their tower over here so that their carry can farm them without having to come way down here and expose himself.
So there's a lot of things like managing equilibrium in Dota. You don't really Havast right now, or Xbox 4. The guy, they actually supposed to be pronounced it Havast. He's actually quite far up if you look at his bottom tower. Yeah,
but so they also just took the tier 1 tower here of LGD, whereas LGD, they're farming up there and they're not pressuring the tower at all. So because Navi is so far ahead, LGD is kind of on a back foot, and they're just trying to look to farm and catch up, and so they weren't willing to TP to teleport down here and protect the tower. And when the tower goes down, it's just 200 gold essentially for everyone on that team.
Okay.
So essentially, Dota's a game.
See, now here's a fight. That's a haste rune there. So he throws his hook so that Puck can't jaunt onto the rune and get it before him, because then he would have just been in the hook.
Yeah, probably would have died there. Is the big thing if he'd gone for it. That also.
But now, so now you have a Dendy Pudge with a haste rune, so you can run around super fast. You never really know where he's going to be coming from. See, another great arrow dodge there again, but then he doesn't have his phase shift, so then he's just he has a whole bunch of trouble dodging that hook.
If Dendy didn't have the haste rune there, he probably wouldn't have been able to kill Puck, because he would have threw that orb out like you saw and just jaunted to it very quickly without being hooked. So, but at least with that, he was able to get the kill, at least for Dendy.
Yeah.
So Dota's kind of a game. It's a lot about equilibrium, a lot about making sure the right people on your team are getting the items and getting the space. And another arrow just flew.
So and then he just goes up, boom,
throws the hook.
He's probably gonna die anyways here. He can't break that. That's the ultimate of Puck. And if you break it, then it'll stun you and it'll do damage to you. So if he had run too far away, he would have died as well.
He actually didn't die to the enemy team there.
No, he did get denied, didn't he?
Pudge has got an ability called Rot, which basically does basically he's smelly and he does damage to himself.
And then in the area that's that green cloud around him. So if he's low on health and that's still on and the enemy's not attacking him at the right time, then sometimes he can kill himself, and then he doesn't give experience to the other team.
Or gold
Or
is
gold,
the big thing. But he also dies, which kind of sucks. But the fact that the other team doesn't get experience or gold for the kill, it's a pretty moot point in terms of what they gain.
So you brought up, I was just going to go, that net worth. What's that exactly?
So this is showing like basically the amount of gold in items and just loose gold on each of the heroes. So Xbox down there on Anti-Mage, he's leading, followed closely by Sylar on the Gyro. And those are the two guys that you really want to have the most, because they're the two that are supposed to be getting the most farm.
Oh, and here comes Pudge with another meat hook,
Yep.
and bam.
He had an invisibility rune there, so he just kind of sneaked up. So you really have to be watching the map if you're a player. And then
that was...
he came in, he put down the sentry ward because he figured that there was a vision ward here that Pudge had put down, but he wasn't counting on Pudge still being around there, and just easy kill. And that's now why Gyro is like hiding up in the trees here now, because he knows Pudge is still around. And he's not safe.
Scared.
So now while Gyro's not really farming, now Anti-Mage is starting to pull further away in net worth. Pudge and Mirana are both doing very good, followed by the Puck and the Darkseer, which is kind of to be expected. Like you would expect these two to be having a much better game than they're having right now, but just mid's been going so terribly for Puck, and that early death on Darkseer are really setting them back.
So the biggest thing with net worth essentially is how much... If they have a lot of net worth, they probably have a lot of items. And you want to have a high net worth on your carries, essentially.
I should bring up this gold graph here. So this is a graph of the relative difference in gold between each team. So so Navi's already up to about a 4K gold lead, which is a fair bit for 9.5 minutes in. And then there's also a handy experience graph here. And so they're not quite as far ahead on that. Well, I guess they're about the same place, but again, just a lot for this stage in the game.
That's the big thing, is just the amount of time that's actually only occurred.
Look at that gold per minute there, and
Navi's
got the top.
Well, this one isn't ranked.
There we go.
There, that's it. There.
Okay.
Oh, Dandy found another person.
Yeah.
Oh, but he might die now to Gyro.
Yeah. So this call down here, that's Gyro's big ulti. But then Chen comes in and he did his heal that brought everyone back up.
Oh my god, there's just so many lights.
Yeah. And then this is the Darkseer wall here that's going down. So Puppy doesn't want to walk through it, because when he does, he took damage, and now there's illusionary Chen that's attacking
There's Bizarro
people.
Puppy.
Yeah.
So Funnick right now on the Windrunner, or Mirana, has been basically running around for double
he just got a kill, and they also just killed LGD's Courier, which is also worth another couple hundred gold, so...
The Courier was the crazy...
Anglerfish.
The anglerfish we saw at the beginning, and Dendy's back, and he finds another... Oh! Shadow Demon disrupted himself, but...
This is the Mirana ulti now, so it makes people invisible when they haven't used an ability for like a couple of seconds.
Dendy's still looking for
So now Invisible Pudge. Oh, now he's visible again. Now everyone's dancing around. Miss.
Misses the
It's
meat
a rare miss from Dendy. Sorry about the spastic camera movements, by the way, everybody. But.
Yeah, we put the smooth scrolling on, but I don't see too much of a difference.
Yeah. If you hold the middle mouse button there, and then...
On this.
No, you gotta hold it. You gotta hold it.
That is holding.
It should disappear. You disabled it. We can fix it for another time.
That's
Denny's
alright.
running around looking for...
And
he
Ooh!
Blind
That's
hook over there,
Gyrocopter.
yeah.
So he didn't even actually see him. He just hooked to where he thought he might be and managed to get him.
It's when the last you see them out of Fog of War, you expect them to be somewhere over there, and then it's... See, because like, if we change it to just the Radiance vision right now, so basically these illuminated areas are where...
What they actually can see.
What Navi can actually see. So yeah, they can't see all these guys running around in here. All that stuff on the main map that we see, they don't. But then they have like the wards in here to help give them vision, and they have vision everywhere. They have towers and creep.
Okay.
Let's leave this on to the next hook. So you can see he comes out and sees he's there.
It's just he's just trying to get around the creeps, because if they're in the way, they'll...
So also say too, Rubik here, his main ability is his ultimate allows him to steal spells from the other enemies. And so right now he's still on the Surge from Darkseer. So that whenever he casts that, it increases the movement speed of whoever you cast it on by a bunch for, what is it? What's the duration right now? 4.5 seconds.
So who would he be mainly using that on?
Well, lately it's just been on Pudge to help him, like, you know, rapidly move around to get himself in position for a good hook.
So you're talking about a laning phase, and now it seems like that's done. There's not too much laning. So what's the main goal for this stage of the game?
The main goal for this stage of the game is just so, at this point, Na'Vi has secured themselves a good gold lead, and they're using it to get items like this urn that allows you to either put a damage or a heal. Another big one is this mech that the Chen has managed to get.
Mechanism.
You hit it, and it's basically a heal, like a flash heal to everyone around you on your team.
Oh, wow.
So it's really handy. So it's that, like, they built this gold lead, and they're just trying to add to it now and maintain their lead. With the ultimate purpose of getting down the rest of these towers and getting into the base here.
So look like Dandy's in a bit of trouble here.
So yeah, he threw down that vacuum and that dark wall I've seen.
Yeah, and it just, like, especially if it's a team fight, like, you can imagine if it wasn't just one person, but if there was 4 people in that vacuum and wall, it would have done the exact same amount of damage. And then there would have been more illusions fighting there too. So it's like, if you're up against a Darkseer, you have to make sure your positioning is really, really good and spread out, or else he can just ruin an entire team fight. But while everyone's been focused on, you know, keeping down Pudge and trying to, like, make him not have a good game, Xbox on the Anti-Mage, which is Navi's main, like, carry hero, has just been free farming all up bottom lane. He's gotten both bottom towers. He's been going through the jungle. He can teleport around so he can get to jungle camps more quickly. He has a spell shield that allows him to take less damage from magic items, or from magic spells. And then the big item that he's managed to complete here is a Battle Fury, which basically gives his regular attack a cleave. So it allows him to, like, either in team fights or just, like, going around jungling, he can just chew through guys.
Oh, wow.
Especially when they're grouped up.
I love how blatant the names are, like Anti-Mage.
Yeah.
He has a very... Punch.
So basically, like, at this point, like you said, the laning phase is pretty much non-existent. Yeah. So the main goal right now is to keep buying room for Havas to keep farming. Yeah. So right now you can see how he's not even with the entire team. He's still right in the middle if you look in the minimap.
And because Na'Vi, they don't even need him there right now to, like, they can take on all 5 members of the other team with only 4 of them.
That's the big thing.
Because they're so far ahead.
So
so right now Xbox coming up, and now just. So he threw down his ulti there to do a bit more damage, and, like, by the time he gets there, it's just cleanup mode.
So realistically, is there any hope for LGD?
At this point,
could there be a comeback?
At this point, things are pretty grim, and you see it here with LGD calling the GG.
They feel they're too far behind. It's not so much if they waited a longer, they could very well start handling Pudge, Rubik, Mirana, and Chen. But the fact that they haven't been able to essentially screw with Havas' farm, and he's just been running around the bottom there, in another 10 minutes when they're able to actually handle the other 4 of Na'Vi, Havas will be so big that his contribution, they'll end up just crushing him. Yeah. And you can see that with the gold
final gold graph, they're at like 12,500 gold above.
Wow. So that's a pretty clean sweep.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is professional Dota sort of at running at peak form.
Wow.
LGD had a rough game, but not like Na'Vi especially Dendy is known for his Pudge. Yeah. He's known to basically win. Like, he won that game. He's 9-4-6, but he basically won that game by screwing with the other team.
And the really cool thing about a game like Dota 2 is, like, a game like this is really going to mess with the metagame for the rest of the tournament. It's like now lots of teams, when it comes to that pick ban stage,
they're going to ban Pudge.
They're going to ban Pudge, and they're going to ban him early, which is going to open up the ability for Na'Vi to pick up some of the other heroes that are commonly banned out. So like Bat Rider and stuff like that, like some other really good, strong heroes. Mm-hmm. But just because, like, lots of teams don't practice against a Pudge, because normally Pudge only gets played professionally on LAN tournaments. Because you can imagine if you have 120 millisecond ping or something like that.
If that meat hook is just a fraction of a second off.
Yeah, it's just untenable. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So what So for a person new to, I guess, watching Dota or competitive Dota, what should they be looking for? Like, what are teams to watch? What are good rounds you can foresee in the future?
I mean, well,
Is it done right now, or is it still going on?
the international is just getting into full swing right
Okay.
now on the 6th.
It'll start tomorrow is when the main stage... Basically, they had the preliminaries, which is it's the seeding.
Yeah.
So teams that did better got a better seeding in the winners bracket. Teams that did
Actually.
worse got in the loser bracket. So probably for the tournament, it depends on the kind of playstyle you like. Probably for most people, Navi is a big one to watch because they're used to doing unconventional picks like the Pudge especially. Dendy is known for his Pudge. He's feared for it.
Yeah.
Other teams are probably the Alliance, which is another European team.
Yeah.
They are actually undefeated right now. In the
Yeah,
preliminaries.
they're a big Swedish team actually. They had a Canadian on their team for a little while, and then not anymore. But
Oh, no love for Canada.
no, well, but yeah. So, like, yeah, Alliance is the other big kind of team for the Western scene. DK, LGD, Invictus Gaming, they're all really big Chinese.
They're basically the
Powerhouse
superpowers.
teams,
IG
yeah.
was the team that actually won the international last year.
Yeah, and then Fnatic, they're another European team. There are some strictly North American teams,
I think is there just one?
none of which
Or
made
two?
made it into the winners bracket there. Well, there's EG, there's Dignitas.
EG wasn't invited actually to the international. They had
Yeah.
to play in the prelims or the qualifiers, and they actually lost. But the two, I guess, North American teams are Team Liquid, which has been known for their StarCraft teams for years, and Dignitas, which they've actually both of the teams have done like surprising. I shouldn't say surprising, but it is surprisingly well.
The,
for how they've been
the
playing.
North American scene is nowhere near as developed as other parts of the world. Again,
That's the
like
big
lots
thing.
of games, but they still do a good showing. And yeah,
I mean, I guess it comes down to a very similar thing as the Olympics. If you can fund your teams, if you can, give them
money to
money for training facilities, then
professional gaming in China, the teams will actually get team houses to practice. They'll actually be given a wage that they can live off. They're not like going to school playing and they just have a lot of the they have a lot of raw talent in North America, but they do also lack a lot of the times. I guess the time and training and the ability to do that just because of how the scene is in
there's
North
not as
America.
much money as in it over here.
That's the big thing.
Lots of the big tournaments are all for like us are all either European or Chinese tournaments, so it's harder for North American teams to get there.
And if a lot of them are online tournaments, then that also presents the problem of ping. So if a lot of the North American teams are used to playing with 200 plus ping, that doesn't allow you to do all the picks that you might want to. Still, you get used to playing on it, but it's still never the same as playing with a LAN tournament ping of 0.
Yeah, and if you want to watch more Dota, you can download the client on Steam, go into watch and find tournaments and games in there.
You can actually play it now too for free. It's out of beta.
It's out of beta. There's Twitch TV, always lots of really good streamers on there. JoinDota.com. They have a really good kind of news and feed aggregated all Dota-centric website put together. Go to Gamers, Team Liquid. You can find all the usual sort of esports portals you can find it on, and then YouTube, of course, as well. Or channels like yours or other people's.
Yeah, I don't expect. I might do another Total Noob.
I think we should have you play a game at some point.
I really want to do the 5v5. I want to do the 5v5 Total Noobacost, which is essentially we're gonna have. I think how I want to do it is I want to have Aaron be a captain and me be a captain, and then we have 8 friends who've basically never really played Dotas or MOBAs, and we basically captain pick teams, and then we play against each other.
Yeah. So, and of course, because you've heard it on the internet now, if you watch this video, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So expect it to happen soon, and if it isn't up in 2 weeks, start nailing Dewaldo incessantly.
Like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the Total Noobacost. This is Dewaldo signing out.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.